Is it up?
Have you got it in yet?
Yeah, I see.
Yes, it's up.
All right, here we go with the rumpus. This says 11 months ago. It was about 3 years ago. I went ahead and just in case it got deleted. So you utter moron. And as you can see down here, air is not the atmosphere. So there you go. Any questions?
Oh, he actually wrote this himself. I thought it was something maybe he said, and you would have quoted him. He wrote this. Ooh.
Yep.
Okay.
He must have been spiraling at the time.
Air is not atmosphere, bro.
Yep, this is who you're dealing with, people. Air is not the atmosphere. That's who you're dealing with here.
I almost want to go into Jose's right now and just ask them, like, guys, is the atmosphere consistent of air?
Well, the thing is, people that go into Jose's are the ballers that died here. They don't exist here anymore. They've gone down a tier or two, and that's why they're in Jose's.
They're like the washed up Legion of Doom.
Yeah.
There's also some really good ones in here too. The atmosphere rotates with the surface of the Earth and is in the same reference frame. So, Rumpus, how do you have the Coriolis effect? You frigging clown. We won't even go. We don't need to go there. We'll just stay here. Air is
reference frames into the reference frame.
Air is not the atmosphere, folks. Can somebody look up the meaning of atmo? Can somebody
Atmo
do
just
that
means
for me?
air.
I can repeat that, Anthony.
Atmo just means air. That's why I use the word atmo, because atmo just means air, and that's what we have. The minute you say atmosphere, it makes people think ball, right? Think about it. Even if we did live on a ball, you wouldn't actually call it atmosphere unless we lived on... Well, you wouldn't... Even if we lived on a ball, you wouldn't call it atmosphere. You'd just call it the air. They have to call it atmosphere to make you... It's like word association. When you say Jordan, you think big boobs or whatever. You think atmosphere, you think sphere.
Most people outside of
look
England
at the game
don't
they play
think...
with words, though, right? Because it's atmosphere, but then they got airplane. So
yeah, words are important,
airplane
right?
Flying through an atmosphere. Why wouldn't they call it an air sphere?
It started out as It started out as science language, basically. Like the wizardry, they started up around when NASA came up. It was like the new science language, and it kind of slipped in. It was normalized. So, which is the reason why we say the phrase "science has been raped by pseudoscience." But it is like futurism, and then they just make it real.
Hey, is my screen still sharing?
Yeah, I had a different Earth picture a moment ago, but yeah, what? Yes, you are.
Oh, hold on. Wait 1 second. Smoke him if you got him.
I just want to point out that
no globers left to smoke, though. That's the problem now.
There's going to be no, well, I don't know, 15% of the audience that will associate the word Jordan with big boobs. Most of the audience will not. Hey, how you doing, Tim? How you doing?
Can you explain that one to me?
Hold on, I've got a new guest. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
1 sec.
Oh, is him? What is the word association with Jordan if it isn't big boobs?
What is it? Only for Brits. None of the other... Anybody who's outside
Okay, so Jordan's a glamour model that had unusually big boobs.
Oh. So I want to make a point here. There is something called an argument from fallacy. It's an argument from fallacy is a formal logical fallacy of analyzing an argument and inferring that since it contains a fallacy, its conclusion must be false.
Yeah, that's the fallacy. And?
No, it's argument from fallacy.
Yeah, same as the fallacy.
Does it change? So are you trying to say that we can have a gas pressure without a container?
No, I didn't say anything about that.
No, you're just pointing out a logical fallacy. Great, that's great. That's true. Wonderful. Thank you.
What does John think about that fallacy? Because he continues to commit it.
Ooh, accuse.
He does.
Does anybody not understand the fallacy that Tim's just detailed? If you don't, feel free to say yes.
I don't, Nathan. Would you like to explain it to us?
Sure. The assumption that because a logical fallacy has been employed to make a demonstration, or pull apart an assertion, that automatically makes the assertion false simply because a logical fallacy has been employed to make the example. So I'll probably butcher this, but if we have ipso facto got a red car, and I say if we have unicorns, then my car will be red. My car is red, therefore we have unicorns. That's a terrible example because it doesn't use the red car. I can't think of a butchered example on the spot, but the point is that the outcome of the logical fallacy might actually be true. Just because it's been formulated into a logical fallacy doesn't automatically make it false. However, in the cases that we assert logical fallacy, we would ask you to actually demonstrate proof of the thing being presupposed. So in the case of if the Earth is a sphere, we will see antipodal star rotation. We see antipodal star rotation, therefore the Earth is a sphere. We would ask you to
No one makes that argument, though.
I hadn't quite got there. I would ultimately ask you to prove your presupposition. So in this instance, if the only proof is the logical fallacy, that's not a fallacy, Tim.
No one makes that argument. Again, I'll say that.
You do.
You make that argument.
I've got plenty of times that you've made it.
4 years.
That's actually straw man
You made it
Clowns, Joe.
You're a liar, Tim. You make that argument.
So John speaks up now. I'm just wondering, why do you continue to commit
I just got back.
John?
Sorry. I
John
had to
is
take
a
care of
walking
something. I just got
fallacy.
back.
Don't mind him.
Hold on. No, Tim's laid a charge at your feet, so let's just repeat it. So he's saying you're guilty of the fallacy.
How so?
You just said probably 10 minutes ago that basically all fallacies make an argument false.
I didn't say that. I never said that.
Okay. You didn't say that at all? Not even
No.
an interpretation of what you just said?
No, I never said that. Quote me.
Oh, well, when this is up, I will, actually. I
Oh,
can put it
well, no,
together
you
for
won't, because I never said that. I would never say that. If somebody employs a fallacy, it makes the argument, listen up, void. Go listen to my logical fallacy presentation.
Yeah, so
argument.
void. What do you mean by void? You mean false? Or
Yeah,
what do you mean?
What does void mean?
I don't know. What do you mean? Because you're the one recreating words around
Empty.
it. So what do you mean?
Void. I didn't just recreate the word void, you dipshit.
So will you define it for me so I know what you're talking
Try
about?
again.
Everything proves God.
Add one
I
side.
don't-
Hold on, you both
Void
sides
proves
talk
God
over
too.
each other. So
Comes from null and void.
Hold on, Owen.
It means
Just let me give one bit of
negated and
clarity.
empty.
The argument becomes void. The argument.
Okay, so all of his arguments when he uses fallacy are void then, correct?
Give an example of a fallacy he's used.
He's not inferring that it's incorrect to use a fallacy in an argument.
The argument is void. What does logic mean? What is the definition of logic?
You know very well I know logic, reasoning, and actual
why I'm asking
fallacies.
you.
not
I know you'll
in
give a
there
good
misapplying fallacies to everybody.
Sure.
You wouldn't know what logic was if it landed on your head, spun around, and whistled
I'm
Dixie.
I'm talking to Tim.
You don't even know what elevation is, John.
I know you'll give a good definition. So what's logic, Tim?
What is logic? Why are we even going over that?
Because
That's
we're
ridiculous.
detailing where something isn't logic, i.e. fallacy.
He likes to go over tangents.
We're talking about logical fallacies.
Ask him. He doesn't even know where he is. Ask him his name.
Yeah, he won't give us that. Right, Tim?
So anyway, let's
Drama
talk
is
about
on
John and
fire,
his
Tim.
conscience.
Isn't it Jason Carl?
Oh, your names aren't Tim.
Let's talk about John and how he doesn't understand elevation, how he's going to the Pontchartrain on Google
Oh,
Earth
yeah,
and
let's
looking
talk
at
about
3-foot
that.
elevation.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and put that.
That's embarrassing, John, because we actually, 80 and below this show right here, we're talking about much to do with elevation and how the sphere works. So how do you
How can
think
you
that
have
that
a
proves
level
flat
curve,
Earth?
Timmy? How can you have a
can
level
actually
curve,
listen to
Timmy?
people and not talk over people, or are you just going to continue to talk over people?
How can you have a level curve, Timmy?
So you think that's a valid argument that there's 3-foot elevation on this side and 4-foot elevation on that side? Do you think that's really a valid argument, John?
Yeah, because according to your spinning ball space monkey religion, every point along a tangent from your feet drops, vertical drops away from you at 8 inches per mile squared.
This just proves that you really don't understand. You're out of your
What
depth here, bud.
proves? You didn't say anything yet. What proves?
No, you just proved that you're an idiot, basically.
Oh,
you don't
yeah.
understand
Great
elevation on a sphere.
argument. Great
You'd
argument.
expect that it would be negative or something?
You got any
No,
actual
I would
arguments?
expect drop.
You would expect drop.
Yeah, that's what your religion says. Do you even know the tenets of your religion?
Isn't it funny how a very religious...
That's funny coming from you,
fundamentalist
John.
Christian-
Isn't
Isn't
it
that funny?
funny?
Yeah.
Hold on.
Isn't
Can you
it
just let
funny,
Tim and Quantum Erasing?
I just
Tim
want
own
to say that it's funny to me
Let's
that
go
people that are
here.
fundy Christians go around and call people religious and say that they don't have a
Fundy,
religion.
you're a fundy materialist. I'm not I don't believe in
You said I was a
religion. What the
materialist.
heck
Why
are
are you
you talking
strawmanning me,
about?
John?
You're a fundy
You said I was a
materialist. You don't
materialist.
even know what
Okay,
level
while,
means.
while the ad homs are going on, thank you very much, Winnie the Brew Bear. Thank you very much.
You
You said
understand
I was
that
a
level
materialist.
is flat. Let's go
Did I
over
ever
a
say I was
couple
a materialist?
definitions here, Timmy. From Merriam-Webster, level, to make a line or surface horizontal, make flat or level. Level synonyms, flat,
Why are you looking at synonyms?
plane,
Why are you
level,
looking at synonyms?
flat, plane. Excuse me, I'm still presenting here. Level, flat, plane, even, smooth, means having a surface without curves. You understand this? You know what drop means? To fall vertically. Fall vertically. Height, altitude, elevation mean vertical. You understand that? Go ahead.
Why are you looking at synonyms? Synonyms are not a complete
I'm not looking at that was
equal.
just added. I just defined these for you.
I almost got my words out, John. Almost.
Go
Why are you
ahead,
looking at
Timmy.
synonyms?
This
Why are
is
you
not a
looking at
synonym,
synonyms?
Timmy.
Again,
He's just answered you. He's not.
he just read out synonyms, did he not?
Definition.
I just read out a
Level.
definition too, Timmy.
The definition's
Oh, okay. So two. That means he did, Nathan. He did read out
Uh-oh,
synonyms.
this
Okay.
retard.
yeah,
Let's
and,
get that
and
straight.
the definition. So typically, when you look up a definition, underneath it has synonyms. He's read out the definition and given synonyms as it would be presented if you looked up the definition of most things.
So level, the first one is a horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point. So that would be the radius of the Earth, John.
Where does it say that? Sorry.
Where does it say that?
The first definition. Just put it into Google. You can go to Merriam's. You can go to all different places and not just read one definition, but actually look at all of them, John.
Okay, pull it up. Share his
Pull what
screen.
up? Just look up level, the definition. Why do I have
Share
to
his
pull it
screen.
up?
It's not my duty to
I
prove
never
your
said it was your
claims,
duty.
counselor.
It's not
It's
my
your
duty
duty.
either, bud.
So share your screen. I'll go off right here for a second.
Prepared to share the screen, the assertion fails.
The assertion doesn't fail. I just said it was the first definition, and it is.
Go ahead.
Hitchens raised
Share your screen.
that assertions made without evidence can be dismissed without evidence, and we apply it.
Hold on.
So
Someone
evidence
else
is going to be
just-
reading a definition to
Let's
you?
not do this.
Really?
Let's not do this. Someone else. If Tim doesn't want to, no worries. Someone else. Just go
No, let's
type
do
in.
it. Let's do it, actually, because I'm actually right, so we'll see.
Go ahead.
So you're telling me this is not after having just done it on your screen from memory if you Google search?
A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point.
Right.
Okay. You said radius.
That does on the spherical Earth. That would be the radius or another point. Yeah.
Where does it say that? Sorry, can you just point where it says that, please?
On a spherical Earth, it would be a curve, Tim, not
Sorry,
not a flat.
hold on,
hole.
Anthony. Sorry, can you just point to where it says that, please, Tim?
Says what? A horizontal plane or line with respect to the distance above or below a given point.
No,
I'm
radius.
saying on the spherical Earth. That's
Yeah,
pretty
that
much
bit.
the radius or
Yes,
another
that
point.
bit. Where does it say that bit?
Or even from elevation.
Sorry,
or
where does it
from,
say that bit?
sea level
Where
or
does it
whatever.
say that in your definition, Tim? It doesn't seem
I'm
to
just
say that.
expanding on it. This is.
Oh,
just-
you're just expanding on it, are you, stupid fuckwit? We don't give a fuck
Oh, here
what
we
you
go.
think, Tim. Your
Here we
definition
go.
doesn't seem to back your assertion.
Here we go.
You're a terrible wizard.
Sorry,
Tim.
Tim.
Drama queen.
Tim, your citation does not back your, what did you call it? Expansion?
Yes.
Yes, that's right. It doesn't back it, Tim. It didn't say the words that came out of your mouth. They're just your expanding on the definition, which did not back your claim, in regards to it meaning drop and curve, which it doesn't.
Tim, I've got a question for you. You okay with the question?
Why don't you just ask it? Why you're asking me a question within that, so then I would have to say yes, which would be okay with a question. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm going to play a clip, so Nathan, mind you, the sound will pass through anyway. You'll hear it. Would you tell me, do you agree or disagree with the words that come on that you hear next?
Agree. I know we're talking about Coriolis at the moment, but Anthony would agree, I think, that the shape of the Earth is not a question that can be settled by the scientific method, although
Yes.
he'd like to.
So Jeremy states that, and he says Anthony would agree with me that the shape of the Earth cannot be settled by scientific method. Do you agree with Jeremy, Tim?
With the scientific method, I'm sure you could formulate it, not within Quantum Eraser's version of the scientific method, but probably, yeah, you could
What's my
probably
version?
formulate it.
What's my
So-
version?
Yeah. So be clear. So Gem Panda says that Anthony would agree with me that the shape of the Earth is not something that you can settle within scientific method. Do you agree or disagree with Gem Panda?
I just answered that question. Do you need me to answer it again? Are you going to listen to me?
Or no? Do you agree with Gem Panda's remarks? Yes or no?
I think you're just trying to put me in a position to say, "Oh, look, they disagree. The ballers disagree."
I
What a clown you are.
You're cornered. So do
I've
you
already
agree?
answered the question. I said that I think it can be formulated into the scientific method, not John's version of it, but
Oh,
it could
what's
be.
my version? Well, we need to see my version of the scientific method, Anthony. He said my version.
Yeah,
Share his.
but Tim, Jim never said anything about a version. He just said scientific method.
It doesn't
Never said
matter.
anything
Somebody-
about John's version.
You're
What do you
rumpusing
guys
the
do
shit out of him.
continually?
He's replied. Anthony, he's given you a reply. Can you at least acknowledge his reply?
I'm trying to get a word in. So his reply what? The question is, do you agree with Gem Panda? And his answer is, you can probably prove it in scientific method. Is that what you said?
I said you could probably formulate it into a scientific method. Yes.
But let's just see what his words were again, because he doesn't say that.
Doesn't matter.
I know it's
That's his
Coriolis
answer.
at the moment, but Anthony would agree, I think, that the shape of the Earth is not a question that can be settled by the scientific method.
It's not a question that can be settled by. So what I'm asking is now, Tim, if the scientific method cannot settle the shape of the Earth, given the definition of pseudoscience, how do we determine the shape of the Earth?
There's definitely a lot of. I've been going through it for years, actually. Very easy stuff. You just walk outside and do observations.
Yeah, wouldn't that satisfy the definition of pseudoscience and therefore bullshit?
Well, that would also apply to flat Earth, would it not?
Yeah, but we're not saying that we can prove that it's a flat plane. We're saying that you guys can't
Did
prove
I
it.
ever come on and say that I could prove with a scientific method it's a sphere?
But we're
Yeah.
not making.
You said
Did I
it a
ever say
number of
that?
times.
Or are you strawmanning me again?
I'm not
Strawmanning
strawmanning
you.
you.
You
Any
and your
versions.
incoherent hordes for the past 3 years have told us that for us to believe that the Earth is flat, we must deny all of science and physics.
Correct.
Have you ever heard that?
Are you guys really going to strawman me again?
Strawman you. How many on the panel have been personally challenged
Damn,
with that
John,
statement?
you're forcing me to do this. Can you cite where Tim has said that?
Like where Tim, I'm
Yeah.
saying
Yeah.
all the incoherent baltards for the past 3 years.
Oh, yeah, it's a straw man.
Sorry,
Just FYI.
that's
Well,
not-
it's a stereotype fallacy. I grant you that. Okay, I'm going to leave Tim go. I grant you that. Okay, guilty as charged. I grant
So
you that. Leave it off Timmy. How many people have
I'd
been
like to
challenged
clear
with that statement?
Hold on. Fine. If you're not going to attribute this to
getting
Tim
to a point.
specifically, then fine, make your statement, John. But you can't put that on Tim.
Yeah, you're
unless you
right.
can quote
You're right.
him.
I can't quote him directly. You're correct. It's a stereotype fallacy. You're right. Guilty. All right, carry
Quote
on.
me directly.
And I'm not going to go through the years worth of background because we know that generally speaking, you baltards have said this. Specifically, you, Tim, I haven't got evidence to prove that that's true.
He's just said it. You're not listening. Oh, this is getting frustrating. Why am I having to argue for Tim? He's given you his answer and you haven't listened to him. He said he feels it could be formulated into the scientific method. So you're now saying, I don't have a quote where you've said that. He said it on this show 3 minutes ago.
All right, in that case then, so he disagrees with Gem Panda then?
Yes.
Oh, right, okay, I misheard or misunderstood. My apologies, right? So you disagree with Gem Panda, so perhaps you should do a hate video calling Gem Panda out, telling him that the scientific method can prove the shape of the Earth and for the reasons why.
Why?
I'd like to clear up a question.
This is benign. Why is it that baller joins? Sorry, Paul. A baller joins, and suddenly these benign arguments are thrown at him. You know, he's the one person that I'd expect you to be quote mining him to all hell and, you know, pinning him to a wall. But instead of that, you've got him on account of Ad Populum and Gem Panda.
No, to be honest, I'm just happy that he disagrees with Gem Panda, and I can go back and tell Gem Panda that he's wrong. Tim doesn't agree with him, and that's good enough for me. I'm done.
I'm not even necessarily disagreeing with him, actually. If you would have heard my answer the first time, you might actually formulate that I wasn't. I said that it could possibly be formulated into the scientific method.
Oh, great. So how could we prove gravity in scientific method then, Tim?
I got it up on screen. Oh, I don't. Nathan, can you share my screen? We're going to have Timmy prove using the scientific method.
Respectfully, John, for this one, let's not do this. We know our position on it, but I'd like to know how Tim thinks that we could possibly prove the shape of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what he's doing.
This is kind of the problem, guys, is that we're talking to layman's as far as basically any of the Globers, including myself, that come on. So when they say mass is the independent variable, that's not even true. If you actually look at the Cavendish experiment, it's basically looks like what John presents with the quantum eraser and the double slit.
It isn't. You're a clown.
Okay, go ahead and talk over me. It's much more complex
because you're a clown. You're making faceless assertions.
Come on, John. Be reasonable. He's making the claim. Let him just make it. What's wrong with that?
He just made it. He said the Cavendish experiment is like the quantum eraser experiment. Well, he's a clown.
Hold on. No. That's not what he said. You didn't hear the end of his statement. What he said was, it's laid out, i.e. it has a hypothesis that's valid in the same way. Why am I being rumpused? Who's talking?
You got a non-clown in the background.
Ugh. Right, that's not what he said. He said it's formulated the same as the quantum eraser. He's not equivocating it with it or saying it's the same as. He's saying that the formulation, he's talking about how it's formulated into presumably a hypothesis, although he's saying scientific method. I'll give him that leverage, but that's not what he's saying. Now, if he's claiming that the Cavendish experiment does have a valid hypothesis, great. Hopefully he'll tell us about it, but not if he gets rumpused.
Go, let him go.
Yeah, I don't actually have that pulled up.
Oh, well, you can disregard that then. No worries.
No, what I'm saying is that when Globers say that it's mass is the independent variable, they're actually wrong about that. There is a different independent variable. I can look it up and come back some other time, but it's not formulated in the scientific method as they formulate it. Just let you know.
Yeah, we know.
Hey, Tim.
Yeah, we were well aware of that, Tim. Thank you.
What a strong
Thanks, Tim. We needed you to point that out for us.
But you've never actually expressed.
Yeah, Tim. Thanks. Yeah, we're dealing with fundy fuckwits. Thank you for pointing it out. I'm sure they're really appreciative of you pointing that out too. Great work,
Why
Bob.
do you guys use fundy as a bad word when we have a fundy Christian on our panel? Why would you do that?
Name calling, man. Yeah, dad homs.
How is that a name call? You're a creationist scientist, flat earther, dude.
Creationist scientist? What's that? That sounds like a no true Scotsman fallacy. What's a creationist science?
You don't know what creation science is?
I know what science is. Science is the scientific method.
Damn, I was going to round out the show.
Creation
This is a great conversation.
Creation science.
Hold
yeah,
on.
creation.
Lay down some ground rules. One person talks, the other doesn't interrupt, and that goes for the rest of the panel. Just Tim, just John.
Yeah, creation, right? You have a problem with creation? Can you explain how you can't have creation in a second law of thermodynamics? I wasn't done yet.
You're not answering the question.
I wasn't done yet, sir. You said, so you're not a creationist. Can you explain how you cannot be a creationist while standing in direct contradiction to the laws of thermodynamics and quantum mechanics, please.
So creation science is the interpretation of scientific knowledge in accord with belief in the literal truth of the Bible, especially regarding the creation of matter, life, and humankind in 6 days. This guy here on the panel actually is a creation scientist, so...
That's not creation scientist.
Yep.
What is the difference between a creation scientist and just your plain old everyday scientist?
Because they're actually trying to prove their bias. So they have basically a premise that God created everything, and then everything else has to fit that narrative. And that's what you do.
Oh, is that what I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do I do that?
You tie in the quantum eraser experiment into proving God. Yeah.
Do I do that?
Yep.
What about your bias? How
did
did nature create? Now, let me ask you a question. Was the universe, did it have a beginning? Did the universe have a beginning?
I don't know.
You have no idea. So your position is based on an argument from ignorance fallacy, and you're charging me, a creationist, with saying that it's creation, but you don't know.
No, I'm saying that I personally don't know. You're the one that claims to say that they know, and then you tie everything into religion to prove you're God.
It's not religion. Christianity is not a religion, and they do say
Christianity isn't a religion. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
no, I'm not kidding you.
Rails.
How is Christianity not a religion?
Shut up and on. So you said that they don't know that
the universe had a beginning. Tim. He's not constantly tying it in with religion.
Anon. Just let them have it out. We've only got a few minutes.
No, he's not. That's what you're doing.
We've only got a few minutes left of the live show. You can do this in the after show. Just for now, just let them have it out.
So, Timmy, you said that they don't know that the universe had a beginning.
No, hold on.
Okay?
I want to go back
hold
to
on a second. You said that they don't know. So this is astrophysicist Paul Davies. The universe can't have existed forever. We know there must have been an absolute beginning a finite time ago.
I don't care. They also talk about Big Bangs and crap. I don't believe that. So what?
I didn't say Big Bang. I didn't say Big Bang once.
Okay, so religion is the belief in and worship of a superhuman controlling power.
Excuse me, I'm not done.
Two people talking at once.
I'm not done yet, Timmy.
Yeah.
You said that they didn't know. So we already had Paul Davies. He sure sounds like he knows. Now we're going to have Stephen Hawking.
I don't care. That's another straw man. Why are you bringing up other people and trying to...
They are your scientists, correct? The second law states that disorder always increases with time. Like the argument about human progress, it indicates that there must have been a beginning. Sounds like they know.
That's what the presupposition of the uniformity of nature. I'm not really sure that the universe has been uniform this whole time. I don't really know, dude. It's honest.
What are you talking about, the uniformity of nature? I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics. And the people that you said that didn't know, they said they don't know. But I just showed you that they do know.
What's to say, if this place has been around for billions of years, what's to say that there was a whole different set of physics and stuff when no one was around? What's to say that?
That's a special pleading fallacy.
But why do you continue to use the fallacy?
That's not a fallacy, Timmy. You used a special pleading fallacy.
How so?
To say that the laws of physics have somehow changed in the past
I'm saying that they could have. I'm saying that they could have. I don't know if they did or not.
That's the special pleading.
I'm saying that it's a presupposition of the uniformity of nature. I don't know.
Oh, I'm not talking about the uniformity of nature. You invoked that. I'm talking about the second law of thermodynamics. You stated that they didn't know whether there was a beginning or not. Right? But I just showed you that they do know.
What? Again, you're strawmanning me. I never said anything about these people that you're bringing up. Okay.
How am I strawmanning you? You said that they didn't know whether the universe had a beginning or not. I just showed you two cases where they said they did.
I said, I don't know, John. Can you listen?
And then you said they don't know. So your position is based on an argument from ignorance.
No, it's actually being honest and not trying to attach everything to a God or to a deity or something like that. Yeah.
How can you be in a creation argument if you don't know?
It's called being honest, John. I don't know what happened before I was born, okay?
Then why are you in the argument?
Because I'm actually just calling out your creation science, actually.
Oh, here we go again. Timmy,
and
did the universe have a beginning?
Furthermore, I've never met a Christian that says that Christianity isn't a religion. So how is Christianity not a religion?
What does that mean? You never met? Is this an anecdotal fallacy? John? So this is an anecdotal fallacy from something that you just conjured.
And with that, I'll say if you are watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of today's debating panel, and of course, a massive thank you to all of you for tuning in, smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this live stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video. Stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
You're not John.
No, on the past show, you said that you don't know of any Christian who says that. Well, I'm offering.
Oh, so you're another Christian. You must be listening to Quantum Eraser too much. So Quantum Eraser, how?
No, I'm listening.
How is Christianity not a religion?
I'm listening to you ask a question.
Because the definition of religion is belief without evidence, and I have evidence.
That's not the definition of religion. Religion is the belief and worship of a superhuman controlling power, especially a personal god or gods.
No,
how is it not a religion?
Without evidence. It's synonymous with blind faith.
No, that's faith. That's faith. Actually, you.
I'm sorry, that's a synonym of
faith
religion.
And religion here. So
that's your religion.
How is it not a religion?
I just told you. Religion is belief without evidence. That's why it's always juxtaposed with science. Clown show.
So you've again created your own word for religion now because you don't want to be.
I'll get it right here. Hold on a second. I'll send it to you. I got it.
Well, look up any religion. Just look it up. I already did. Religion.
I already looked it up.
Okay.
How can you be in a creationist argument when you don't know? That's the question, son.
Pointing out your hypocrisy.
Shut up and on. We're not talking to you.
No, I am talking to you.
We're not talking to you. You're a clown. Just like Timmy. Right? So, Timmy, how can you be in a creationist argument when you don't know whether the universe was created or not?
I have been trying to do for the past 3 weeks.
Anon, shut your pie hole.
So where are you getting this religion definition from? Because all of them say basically belief and worship in a superhuman controlling power.
Yeah, without evidence. It's synonymous with faith.
No, it doesn't say that at all.
Yeah, it does say. Shut up, Anon!
It doesn't say that.
No, Timmy, back to the original question because yours just.
No.
Yeah. How can you be in this argument? Okay. How can you be in this argument, right? The creationist argument when you don't know? That's the question. I asked you it on the last show.
I think Anon actually would say exactly.
We don't care about Anon. Answer the question.
Oh, okay. You asked me a question, then talk over me.
I did. Yeah, we don't want to hear about Anon. We want to know why you're in a creationist argument and you don't know.
It's crazy that I have to agree with the Globey. This is what you brought me
down to,
John.
Anon. Timmy, answer the question that I asked you on the last show. You said that you have a problem with creation science, but you don't know whether we were created or not. Why are you in this argument?
I've already answered that question, but I'll go ahead and answer it again. So creation science, like I said, is basically taking a premise and trying to prove that premise with the bias. So I don't need to believe in materialism. I don't need to believe in anything to actually kind of look at that, look at creation science, do I?
Creation science, there is no such animal, for number one. You didn't answer my question. How can you be in a creationist argument when you don't know whether we've been created or not?
I already answered that.
No,
so anyway,
you didn't.
What about religion, Christianity not being a religion?
You didn't answer that question. Why are you in this argument?
I've already answered it. I'm critiquing
Let me ask you
your
another question.
whole
Like I said,
mentality and
we already
narrative
went
here.
over this. That your
I'm
science
critiquing your
pseudoscience
narrative,
priests
John.
have already just told you that the universe had a beginning, right?
What?
Your pseudoscience priests have just told you, I just showed you and the audience where they said the universe had a beginning.
Why are you strawmanning me? I
Oh my
don't necessarily,
God.
just because I know that the Earth is a sphere doesn't have anything to
Know
do
that
with
the
me
Earth is a
believing
sphere.
in string theory, in Big
String
Bangs, and
theory is
anything
not a
like that,
theory.
John.
Why are you? What the hell are you talking about? Why are you invoking string? What is string theory, Timmy?
Wow.
You're not even
So
listening
Yeah.
to what he's saying.
Wow.
You're not
Yeah,
even listening.
he's not listening. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, what is string theory, Timmy?
This guy is a Christian fundamentalist, and really, I
Yeah,
would argue
and
that
you're
he's
a
an
materialist
extremist.
fundamentalist. You think that ink, paper, and glue molecules authored technical
Oh,
instruction
he's back to
manuals
the
and
scripts,
blueprints.
guys. Back to the
Repeating
ink,
it.
paper, and glue
It's a
You
script.
got
poorly
that's what
bad
you
written
are. That's
bot.
what you believe in.
Poorly
What's
written
string
bot in
theory, Timmy?
Python.
Is it a
So
scientific?
anyway, like I was
Number one,
saying,
is string
he
theory a
continues to try
scientific
to
theory?
strawman me by saying, "Oh, just because I believe in the globe, I have to believe in everything that
I never
scientists
said that.
said," which is a
What is string
strawman.
theory? You invoke string theory. If number one, is string theory
He
a
doesn't agree
scientific
with it.
theory? Timmy. Timmy, you invoked string theory. What is string theory? And then we were going to want you to scientifically validate that.
What he said is that he doesn't agree in it. With it. Do you understand that? Or you broke?
No, I'm not
Thank
talking to you,
Anna.
clown show.
Appreciate
He
it.
invoked string theory.
I'm saying that because I'm going to say it one more time for you. Maybe you can listen this time, okay? Just because
Yeah.
I believe in the globe doesn't mean that I believe in all of these crazy scientific theories that they have, such as the Big Bang, which is the atheist creation story, or things like string theory, John. Do you get that now?
Oh, you don't believe in string theory?
I don't necessarily disbelieve it, but I have no reason to believe it.
Okay, what is string theory?
That's besides the point.
No, to disbelieve it, you'd have to know what you're disbelieving in. So what is string
I
theory?
just said I don't believe it or necessarily disbelieve it. You're not listening.
How could you not necessarily believe it or disbelieve it if you
I'll tell
don't
you
know
why,
what the
because
hell it
there's not
is?
16 dimensions.
We're not talking to you, Anon.
Can I ask Timmy a
You're
question?
not Timmy.
Go ahead.
Can I ask Timmy a question?
Who's talking to you?
Go ahead.
Clown.
No, you made a statement. I thought, well, a couple things. Actually, I want to go back to the level thing, but you did just make a statement. You said the Big Bang Theory is the atheistic perspective. Am I
Creation
correct, or I
story.
misunderstand it? Could you?
Creation story.
Atheistic
No,
creation story.
No. You
That's
said.
what I said.
No, you said it was. I thought you said it was the atheistic creation perspective. Big Bang.
That's what he said.
Did I miss it? That's what I
No,
thought
you
he said.
didn't miss it. That's what he
Yes,
said.
for atheists. Yes.
No, I didn't say creationists. I said Big Bang. You said the Big Bang is
Are
the
these
creation,
people
the atheist
hearing?
creation story.
What is going on here?
That's
Are
what
you
I'm
listening?
Well, we're
clarifying.
dealing with a
Pretending
retard
to listen.
that should be picking up cans alongside of the road. He's in a creationist argument, but he
Yeah,
doesn't know
embarrassing,
whether we were
honestly.
created or not.
As a flat earther, I'm embarrassed.
This is like a mechanic
Yeah, this is
being
sad,
in an
dude.
argument with a car, but he's never seen a car.
Everybody keeps. I'm trying to be clear here, guys. I mean, he thinks I'm not hearing him. I'm saying I don't understand. So please bear with me. I thought you said that the Big Bang is the atheist creation story. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Now you're saying story. Very good.
I'm asking you that. I'm asking, is that what you said?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay. Quit making fun of my southern accent. Okay, I'm actually
Hey, I'm
trying to
from
ask a
Texas,
question.
boy. I can do it if I want.
He's a
Okay, you
retard,
said
Paul.
it's the atheistic creation story. So if you, so do you? This is a direct question. Do you believe that there is a creator?
I don't know.
Okay, so you're agnostic.
That would be the
agnostic.
best way to describe me. I usually say that I'm not atheist, but yes, I would say that I'm agnostic. Yes.
Okay, if that's the case, then you shouldn't have a problem with discussing whether there's a creator or not.
Who said that I did?
I know you're dismissing everything John says, and you're dismissing all the Christians on the panel.
No,
like
I'm not.
calling us fundamentalists, whatever. Yes,
No,
you are. That's what you've done.
Because
that's
he
what
is.
you've done.
I called him that.
I'm on this panel too, and I'm a Christian.
Well, that's fine.
But you cut. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to the definition of level. I found the definition you found. Okay, but if you read the word adjective, it says having flat or even surface without slopes or bumps. How do you account for that? I thought this might get us back on track instead of, because we're completely off the rails now. So you read the first part, which is a noun. It says horizontal plane with respect to distance above or below a given point. But if you read the adjective, it says having a flat or even surface without slopes or bumps. And then the verb says give a flat or even surface to. So would you agree with those definitions? Because you didn't go any further than the first one.
Like everything, there's multiple definitions, but I think that Reds and other people have demonstrated how you can have a flat surface that's not level.
What? With this tilted freaking shelf?
Yeah. So there is a difference.
The hell is that?
You can have a flat
Timmy, we just gave you a bunch of definitions, right? That said level is flat without curves. Right?
Okay.
We're not talking about the surface texture. When he tilts the shelf down, it's not level, but the surface is smooth. You clown.
So here's tangent.
Here, we don't want to listen to your color commentary. Just answer the question. Is flat level?
You're funny, John.
Yeah, you're a moron, sir. Is flat level?
If one thing John is he's consistent.
It's flat level.
We talked over 3 years ago.
You are a fundy materialist that thinks that ink, paper, and glue molecules author technical instruction manuals and blueprints, and something came from nothing. We're talking about you, fundy materialist.
Is that how you win arguments?
Please explain in your materialist worldview mathematics, thoughts, time, information. Please explain that in your fundy materialist worldview. We want the chemical structure, formula, charge, mass, momentum, or spin. And the electron
win arguments is straw man people. I never said I was
kilojoules
for look out, there's a tiger behind you.
He's got like dementia.
Right?
I never said I was a materialist. I'm actually.
You are a materialist by default. There's two ontological primitives, sir. You're either nature created us or an intelligent design. There's only two choices.
That's a false dichotomy.
Oh, really? What's the third choice?
Anything else?
Anything else? That's why we love you, Timmy. Your meticulous attention to excruciating detail. OCD-like. What's the third choice?
Anything else?
Yeah, there we go. Anything else? You're a clown.
That's not an answer, Tim.
Eternal?
Tim, that's not an answer.
Eternal is not an answer?
Second law of thermodynamics violation.
That's still nature. That's still nature. You haven't resolved the problem. Eternal is still nature.
How is it still nature if it was eternally here?
Can't be. That's a first and second law of thermodynamics violation.
Well, who's to say the uniformity of nature was the way that it was?
I'm talking about the uniformity of nature. I said it's the first and second law of thermodynamics violation.
Yep, I've caught that too. He has a very glaring.
It's the second law, first and second law of thermodynamics violation. No one brought uniformity of nature into this, Timmy.
I did.
Yeah, you did. What does that have to do with the first and second laws of thermodynamics? Do you even know what they are?
Anything to do with that. You're the one bringing that into the conversation.
Yeah, what's the first law of thermodynamics?
You need to follow along when people talk to you, John. You need to follow along.
What is the first law of thermodynamics, Timmy? And then the second law right after that.
Well, why are you asking questions? Matter cannot be created or destroyed. Well, what does it matter, dude? You don't understand.
It has a direct impact.
It's one of the hardest things to understand.
It has a direct impact on your position. That's why.
Second law of thermodynamics is actually very hard to get in physics. Very, very hard concept, and it's very math based as well. It's never brought up here.
Is it a hard concept in physics? You can't even define them. Define the first law, Nate.
Extremely hard. Yeah.
So it's extremely hard.
Here's an observation
for the second law of thermodynamics, since you know so much about it.
The second, I'm an expert in the laws of thermodynamics. Son.
What's the equation?
Yeah, the second law of thermodynamics can be summarized as all spontaneous
equations.
processes
It's mathematical.
result in an increase in entropy of the universe. Taken with the first law of thermodynamics, that nature or natural law cannot create or destroy matter or energy, the universe must have had a beginning.
He can't hear you when he talks because he's on Skype.
Right? Right? Just like Stephen Hawking just told you. And Paul Davies just told you. I just gave a detailed explanation of it.
So what is one of the equations from it?
One of the equations from it.
Yep.
Gibbs free energy.
New tab.
I just answered it. Gibbs free energy. Delta G. Do you know what delta G is, Timmy?
So the equation is delta G, you're saying?
Yeah, there's a delta. Yeah, it's called Gibbs free energy. Yes.
So it's just delta G?
Called delta G. The result is delta G. Yeah, it's not a disco band from the 70s. Why are you going to equations? What's the problem here?
Because you continue to talk about the second law, and like I said, it's an extremely hard concept to get for a lot of physicists, actually. And
really?
So
you're definitely
there's a lot
not
of
a
math
physicist
involved as well. You continue to boil it down to, high pressure goes to low pressure, and hot goes
that's
to
right,
cold.
you dumbass. That's increase in entropy. Do you know the entropy laws, Timmy?
Do you know what enthalpy is?
Enthalpy. Yes, I do. Heat of reaction.
Why do you boil down things that
You're
are
a
extreme
clown, sir.
concepts
What does a positive
like
delta G say? Positive delta G, what does that mean? That's both unfavorable. Let's go with a positive delta G for a reaction that's unfavorable for enthalpy and entropy. What does that mean? You got to Google your way. You better start Googling fast.
No, I'm not Googling. I need to plug in my vaporizer, actually.
Right.
Hey, Tim, what are equations for in anything? What are they for? Tim, what are equations for? What are equations for?
For quantification of things, ideas, concepts.
Okay, so they're basically a description, right?
I guess.
Okay, was not John describing something? Was John not describing stuff in his explanation? So words can describe things too, right?
Dude, you're just always butting in with like neither here nor there comments, man. Seriously.
Because you're just throwing things out there, like saying, "John, what's equations? John, what's this?" He's giving you the description, but you're not doing anything with it.
The second law is extremely complex, and it has to do a lot with mathematics. And I was just wondering if he knew the math for it, just like the law of gravitation.
Yeah, and I just gave it to you. So what else you got, Timmy? How can you have, since the total amount, hold on, I'm going to summarize the first and second laws for you. Since the total amount of matter and energy is constant, that's the first law, and the amount of usable energy is decreasing, entropy increase, then how in the world can't you have a beginning?
It's supernatural. It's supernatural.
God, man,
It's not part
laws
of
of thermodynamics destroy you. You don't even know what they are.
Are you being fed, Tim?
Yeah, he's being fed.
No, I don't think so. Why do you lay these spurious claims at his feet? Why? It just discredits our argument when you do that.
Seriously.
Why would you do that to him?
Did I get Nathan? Why what?
Why would you accuse him of being fed?
He's asked a question and he responds maybe 3 or 4 seconds later and it indicates that someone's telling him the answer.
No, he said, "I'm just stacking up my vape thing or whatever."
I don't believe him.
I don't care what you believe. It doesn't matter.
So back to my question, Timmy. Since the total amount of matter or energy is constant, first law, and the amount of usable energy is decreasing, second law, that's increasing entropy, how in the world can you not have a beginning?
I've already answered this question.
No, you haven't.
That's the presupposition of the uniformity of nature, and
I didn't presuppose the uniformity of nature. I used the first and second laws of thermodynamics. Has nothing to do with the uniformity of nature.
That they didn't. I'm just saying, yeah, they are laws, just like the law of gravitation are here.
No, that's an equivocation fallacy. That's not a law.
It's not?
No.
I thought you liked laws. I thought that they couldn't be broken. I thought that they were just God's green earth.
I told you that the law of universal gravitation is not a natural law because it's been violated. Helium balloons violated. Yeah. Yeah. What is the universal law of gravitation?
Why is that funny?
Because it's like so elementary. You guys can think that this guy's your guru or whatever, but the fact is,
I don't call anybody a guru. A helium balloon is very harmful for the whole law of gravity.
Chocolate. So, what is the law of gravitation, Tim?
What, Newton's law of universal gravitation?
Yeah, what is it?
You guys just ask questions the whole time. What does it matter? You don't believe in it, so what?
You brought it up.
Do you want me to look it up and then read it to you, or do you want me to have it on the top of my head?
No, that's fine. Yeah, if you
like.
I don't mind him do if as long as he declares that he's just going to go away and look it up. Fine. Yeah. Cool. Great. Yes, please.
You guys not know the law of gravitation?
You brought it up. I know it. Yeah, but I'm just checking if you know it. You've got to look it up. We'll just see what you find, and then we'll go from there.
Nathan, I'm just saying that I'm not actually going to play your games.
Oh,
if you want to talk about, if you want to talk
why
about
did you bring it up then? No worries, Tim. But just answer me this: why bring it up then? If it's something you don't want to defend, why bring it up?
Why did he come here to begin with?
Yeah, he brings up stuff, he throws it at the wall and see if it'll stick. Because he's used to battling those friggin' crayon munching incoherent globetards that let him go. You ain't gonna get away with that here, Timmy. Haven't you learned that in 3 years?
Then I have to define it for you when you guys already know it. It's a rhetorical question. I'm just not gonna play that game.
We're checking to see if you know it.
No, let me just bring it back on track. No, John has said, no, it's not a law. And then at the point we've gone, well, let's define it then. That's essentially what we're asking. And you've gone, no, I'll relinquish this argument at this point. Okay, fine.
Well, let's just say that I know it from all the times that Red's rhetoric continues to talk about it.
He appeals to Red's rhetoric as his source.
That's an appeal to Red's rhetoric fallacy.
I've listened to Red's rhetoric, and I've heard it a lot.
Bitch,
so I actually
Nathan, 2 times now.
You guys know the
Red's rhetoric fallacy.
Because
appeal to Red's rhetoric fallacy.
Wait. So Tim, how does Red's rhetoric define the second law of thermodynamics?
Oh, come on, Chocolate. Let's leave the bitches out of this.
F equals G M1 M2 over R squared. That's what he always says. Yes.
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Sound like that.
Sorry, Tim. You've looked it up. Can you just repeat it? Sorry.
No, I actually know that by heart. F equals G times M1 over, or actually M1 times M2 over R squared.
What's the law?
Just more questions.
No, that's just the equation. Please explain it to us.
I'm not going to.
So how are we supposed to understand what you're talking about then?
Tim, you realize that, right? You tell us the equation, but you're not going to tell us what the actual law is.
No, I'm just saying, like, even with how long we've been talking about it, I would have time to actually look it up. But I'm just like, why answer rhetorical questions?
Just spitball it.
I suspect Tim doesn't know.
It's not a rhetorical question.
I suspect he just doesn't know. Do you know what the law of gravitation is, Tim?
I have no idea. No.
I knew it. I knew it.
Wait a second, Nathan. No, that's a rhetorical question. Timmy, do you even know what a friggin' rhetorical question is?
Oh, I have no idea. I just say things that I have no idea, guys.
For about 2 years, we'd always laugh at you because you didn't know the difference between moot, M-O-O-T, and mute, M-U-T-E.
That was never even me. Again, you're strawmanning me.
You. We laughed at you
I never
years
even used that word.
For conflating the terms. Me and Cathexis.
You know what? Go and find that, John. Go and find where
it's all over. I tried to get Kathy on here, man. I think he's out of the community. Though.
Seriously, go and find where I said that because you're thinking of somebody else. That's the problem.
No, I'm thinking of you, clown show. Let me ask you a question.
I never said that, John. Stop strawmanning me, John.
In the north and southern hemisphere, Timmy.
Didn't it?
Please answer. You know, it's been your argument for 3 years, other than that friggin' stupid photo you drag along with you. Let me ask you this question: do the stars spin in different directions? That is, east-west in the north versus west-east in the south.
I'm really glad that you brought that up because I heard you say that just the other day. No glober has ever said that they spin in opposite directions as far as east-west. We actually said that they do go from. Okay, go ahead and laugh like a maniacal weirdo.
I'm laughing at you. It's been your argument for 3 years.
No, it hasn't actually. The argument is that they, in the northern hemisphere, they go around Polaris counterclockwise. In the southern hemisphere, they go around a central point clockwise. That was the argument. Not that they go east-west and west-east in different directions.
What's the argument?
But that would mean they're moving in different directions, right?
Sorry.
No. You're looking at a different direction.
Don't put words in his mouth, Chocolate. And they rotate around central points. That's interesting. And
was that a question?
Yeah. What's your point?
I'm saying that he's strawmanning people. No one's ever said that they go from west to east when you're looking in the southern hemisphere. No one has ever said that.
Okay, I'll accept that on face value. So you've now pointed out that they seem to go around 2 central points, correct?
Yes, they do.
Counterclockwise and clockwise.
And I'm prepared to accept that. And what the hell does that prove?
Well, nothing to you guys.
Well, you're using it as an example. I'm asking you what you think it proves.
Well, again, this was all brought up because he says that globers say that they go from west to east. No one's ever said that. All we've ever said is that it's counterclockwise in the northern hemisphere and clockwise in the southern hemisphere. That's it.
Okay. Are counterclockwise and clockwise directions objective directions?
No.
Oh, so
then what's your argument?
It's meaningless then. So yeah, no, I'd already said at face value I'll accept the opposite directions thing. No worries, I won't attribute that to you either. But you are still making a claim about these points that they rotate about. Does that have a point attached to it, Tim?
To people who understand the celestial sphere, yes, and the circumpolar stars and the equinox observations, all this stuff that works on the spherical Earth, yeah, it does mean something.
Sorry,
but
what does that you say? Works on a spherical Earth?
There was a baby crying, and then what?
You said it works on a spherical Earth.
Yes, that's what you would expect on a spherical Earth spinning. Yes.
I failed to see the point in you telling us this. I thought you were trying to prove a spherical Earth.
Did I come in here and say, I am here to prove the spherical Earth to you guys that have been rhetorically going over nonsense, semantic arguments for a year or over a year now?
What does semantics mean, Tim?
Oh my God. What is this, the definition show, dude? Seriously.
Yes, it is, because you're using words you have no idea what their meaning is.
Yes, you have semantical arguments.
Okay, semantical arguments. What does semantics mean, Timmy?
Are you able to show the screen to Quantum Eraser? We can get into some observations if we want. Because this is a flat Earth debate.
Do you know what semantics means, Timmy?
Oh, well, I mean, I'm more than willing to look at observations, but so far, all we've got is that you can look at these points about which the stars rotate, and then tell us that if you presuppose Earth is a sphere, They work. So other than you telling us that you can presuppose a spherical Earth, modelling with these observations, what are you going to prove with these observations? Are they of these 2 points above our heads?
I actually never said that you have to presuppose it's a sphere.
You said it works on a sphere model.
Yes, it does.
Sorry, do you have a memory problem? You said it only 60 seconds ago.
No, I just agreed. Yes, it does work on the spherical Earth. Yes.
So you are, in fact, assuming a spherical Earth? I thought you were going to prove it with this example, as opposed to assume it.
How do you test a model if you're not going to assume
We're
its
not
outcome?
living on a model, you stupid dick.
I never said we are.
So who cares then?
I believe that obviously we're not living on a model, but what we are living on can be modeled, and it has with 100%.
What type of
accuracy.
model? Is it an airplane model, a runway model, a toy model, an architectural model? Let's see this model. Share Timmy's screen. I want him to show us the model.
Which one?
I'd like to see it too. That'd be great.
Yeah,
Which
we
one's
want to
Stellarium
see
or what?
the heliocentric model.
Stellarium or what? Will that work?
Whatever it is, pull up your model. Pull up your sphere Earth model.
The heliocentric model.
There's not just one model, guys. There's hundreds of models.
Oh, there's hundreds of them.
Hundreds.
Okay, then Nathan, what model do we want?
The model.
We want the model.
So you guys on your off time can go look at Stellarium. It works.
It's not our job to support your claims, Counselor.
Sorry, Stellarium. Does that show where I stand? Does that show the ground beneath my feet?
Yeah.
You can see the ground in a star program.
Yep. Yes. Did you hear me? Yes, you can. Yes.
Yes. Stellar aberration.
Sorry, Tim. Tim. You think the ground I stand on is in a star program?
Yes, it is.
Sorry, do you know what the word reification means, Tim?
Oh boy, here we go with reification.
I'll ask you it a third time. Do I stand on the ground in a star program?
Oh, do you personally stand? That's a stupid question. No.
Sorry, did I ask the same question 3 times? Yes, I think I did. And you answered in the affirmative that I do stand on the ground. I can see the ground in this star program, can't I, Tim?
No, you can see the ground. Now you're saying that you
can
stand on the ground.
So I do see the ground
you can see the
this
ground.
program.
Yeah.
It's the ground,
That's
is it?
different from you being standing on the ground.
So it's not the ground? Are you having trouble distinguishing between... Are you having trouble distinguishing between a program and reality, Tim? It seems so. The ground in your program isn't the ground, Tim. It's a computer program. That's called reification. Do you believe the ground in the program is where you live, Tim?
It's just dumb.
Yeah, you're not bloody kidding. Yeah, it's called a reification fallacy. We don't live in a model or a program, Tim. Your model isn't reality. Who's making all that racket?
Does it not match reality?
Who's making all the racket?
Yeah. Eddie, go on mute.
Looks like it's coming from you, Nate. I don't know.
Yeah, Nate, it does look like it's coming from you.
My bad.
Somehow.
So I'm wondering, I'm sharing my screen for John here. This is something that you can see out at the Great Salt Lake all the time. And it seems as though over 350 feet of these buildings are being obstructed. Just wondering, what is the current excuse for these observations.
Sorry, did you say 350 feet?
Yes.
Sorry, 350 feet would be an actual size measurement. And we aren't seeing in actual sizes, Tim.
So 350 feet or more of the building and the 100 feet that leads up to the building is being obstructed.
Sorry, did you not hear what I just said? Shall I say it a second time? Are you going to completely ignore it a second time? I'll ask beforehand.
What does that have to do with
Hold on,
anything?
Tim, I'll ask beforehand. Can you please listen to the words that I say, Tim? Is that possible?
What does it have to do with anything what we see in?
I just need an affirmative yes. Yes, Nathan. I'll listen to the words that you say and acknowledge them. Not ignore them entirely. I'll try and say them again without your affirmative that you will indeed acknowledge what I say. So, Tim, we do not see in actual size. It's not a measurement. Tim, I know this is going to trigger you, my friend, because it's the demolition of your fundamentalist belief in Earth curve, which is an equivocation whereby you use actual sizes which do not change with distance, they remain constant. So a 10-foot wall will be a 10-foot wall if
what does that have to do with anything?
You see, Tim, you seem pretty triggered. Is this because...
No, not at all.
Yeah, well, why don't you shut the fuck up then?
Timmy has got an angle. Just let him get
Yeah,
to
you're
his
damn
angle.
right, I've got an angle. Yeah, an angle, Tim. An angle. Yeah, that's how we see things. In angles. We don't see in actual size. This is not an actual size representation of the things you see in a distance. It's an angular representation. We have an angle to all of these buildings, Tim. So when you tell us how much of the actual size is missing, it doesn't account for the fact that the angular size will change with distance. So my question, why would you give us... I haven't quite finished, Tim. Is it because your fundamentalist religious belief in perspective hijacking Earth curve relies on you using actual sizes so that you can exclude perspective? I think it is. And you need to talk over me while I take apart your religious fundamentalist belief in perspective exclusive Earth curve that uses feet and inches, and you can only talk over the top of me rather than have this rammed up you. And I assure you, you will either drop because you're a coward or you'll attempt to obfuscate it by rumpusing. So which is it? You're going to run away like a bitch because this is going to be your belief in Earth curve ripped apart in my answer, Tim. You don't have to like it. You can try and rumpus it. But fact, this will be the demolition of your religion. Either you can listen to it or you can toddle along, sunshine. Which is it going to be?
I'm waiting.
Yeah, no worries. Tim, you are giving us actual sizes for these things that you are telling us have an actual size missing, when in reality, the camera is looking at angles, not actual sizes. However, Tim, you said you were ready. Clearly not ready for your religion to be taken apart. I think, Tim, you should go away, kneel at the altar of R, and come back when you're ready to have your religion taken apart. Because you're not ready, Tim. You're just not there yet. You're not ready for this. It's just too mind-blowing for you. Maybe spend a bit of time with Eric DeBay. Work your way up to this. We're too advanced for you here, Timmy. You need to be on one of those rumpus forums where you don't need to listen to the damaging truth about your religion, how it hijacks perspective with actual sizes like you've given us.
Do you want an angular size instead? We can do that.
Wicked.
So does angular size change with these buildings when I zoom in?
You said you were going to give us an angle. Now you're asking me a question.
Does the angular size change when I zoom in?
You said you were going to give us angular sizes, and we'll process them through your calculation of how much Earth curve obstruction we should see. Are you going to ask me a question or give me those angles?
We could calculate the angles if you want, but that's not really helpful.
Yeah, I do.
Because I zoom out.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'd like that. I'm going to run angles through your Earth curve calculator. We're going to see how that goes. So let's have them. First we'll have the angles, then we'll run them through the Earth curve calculator and see how well we get on.
Do you want angular size, or do
Are
you
you
want
deaf?
angle?
Are you deaf or just fucking retarded? Yes! Give them me, you stupid fuck!
I'm not going to sit here and take this.
Yeah, that's what I said. Option 2. Toddle along then, sunshine. You're not ready for your fundy belief to be taken apart here. This is just too advanced for you, my friend. I'll tell the audience once you toddle off how Tim's actual sizes in feet and inches don't change with distance. And what are we assessing here? Things at distance, Tim?
Are you going to let me talk?
I'm asking you a question. Are we assessing things at distance? Because that would change its angular size, but the feet and inches value you give us, that won't change with distance, will it, Tim? Take your time, sunshine. I know it's hard. Just give it up, Tim. The Earth's not a sphere. There's no curve. It's just a hijacking of perspective. Take your time, mate. Do the feet and inches value change with distance, given that we're assessing things at distance, Tim?
Do the feet and inches change with distance? No.
Oh, well, we seem to be assessing things at distance and how much should or shouldn't be there based on a value that doesn't change with distance.
So
that's wrong,
Walter
Tim.
Bislin does show angular size for these.
No, it doesn't, Tim. No, Tim, it doesn't. You're just mistaken. Would you like me to educate you about how Walter Bislin's calculator works? Or will you rumpus the shit out of me while I take that little religious belief apart as well?
Are you just making stuff up? I'm
asking you, do you want me to take Walter Bislin's calculator to pieces? Or is that a fundamentalist religious belief that's just too dear to you?
Well, let's just premise and say that I asked how this works on a flat Earth, and then we get into angular size and all this stuff.
Yeah, so that's right. On a flat Earth, Tim, we observe angles, and it would be the same on a globe Earth. You see, you asking us to observe angles now on a flat Earth means that you seem to be sidestepping the angles you said that we would run through the Earth curve calculator. You haven't given them us. We haven't done any calculations. What's going on, Tim? Why are you sidestepping this?
Because it's a red herring to start talking about.
Oh, really? Yeah, I thought so. Okay, you've got the win here, Tim. That was a fallacy I used. Maybe it was the fallacy. And in fact, we can use actual sizes when we assess things in the distance, even though it doesn't change with distance.
Is there any flat earthers that actually have arguments for flat Earth?
There's a hand wave dismissal from Timmy there. Oh, how quaint. That's so quaint. You're not ready for this, Tim. Go away, worship at the altar of R, and come back when you're ready for your religious fundamentalist belief in perspective hijacking mathematics and the whole numbers, the actual sizes. Yeah, it's okay, Tim. It's all right. You can rumpus this point. I've made my point 3 or 4 times. Clearly, it's not sunk in. The rumpusing won't work at this point, Tim.
Let's talk to an actual flat earther now. So go ahead.
That's me. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. Tim believes in a perspective hijacking calculation. That's it. That's all you've got.
No, actually, I just you can just look at this image and say, well, how does this work on a flat Earth? How about that?
Oh, no worries. Well, the bottoms of the buildings have got a reduced angular size based on their distance. A limited angle can cause things to disappear. It's called the diffraction limit. Is that a good enough explanation? Sorry, you just going to laugh? Or are you going to in any way challenge my explanation, which is absolutely factually accurate? Or maybe you'll just rumpus me. Maybe you'll laugh and rumpus. You asked a question. I gave an answer. It took me about 5 seconds. You couldn't help interrupting. You're not ready for this, Tim. Just go back to one of the rooms that lets you spout fundamentalist shit.
Okay, rhetoric. Yeah. So what is the diffraction limit, Nathan?
Yeah, the point that you have interference, that you can no longer resolve the image. The point that it disappears with distance.
What's the equation for that?
I haven't got the slightest idea.
There was a 2-hour-long video explaining it.
Radians equals 1.22 times the wavelength of light over the diameter of the aperture.
There you go.
There you go.
So does aperture make things less obstructed or more obstructed?
No, you can calculate the diffraction limit based on the aperture. I'd just like to point out at this stage that none of this is included when you give a feet and inches value, even though we're looking at this picture through an aperture.
Okay, that's great.
No, it's not great because the actual effect is called Earth curve, Tim. Yeah, we have a diffraction limit. It's a fact. You can calculate it based on the aperture of the camera. It's a point that things will disappear in the distance, and the limited angle would be what you calculated for something at distance. Now, when you give a whole number, an actual size in feet and inches, it ignores... Oh, we're not looking at your pictures no more, Tim. Oh, that's a shame.
I'm going to grab some drone video, actually.
Oh, we're going to look at some foreshortening effects, are we? We're done with this subject.
Oh, no, it's foreshortening.
We're done with this subject then, about how the feet and inches value doesn't account for the fact that the optical equipment used has a diffraction limit calculable in the Rayleigh criterion, and that is a cause of things disappearing with distance. That's ignored. Oh, you're going to rumpus the shit out of me right at the conclusion. What coward? You're just not ready for this, Tim. Go to your fundy groups. Go to a Church of Globe.
Why is this guy doing this?
Because you keep interrupting when I get to the conclusion, Tim. When I point out that the whole numbers, the actual sizes, feet and inches or meters, doesn't change with distance. But in reality, the angle can become too small and then be calculable at the diffraction limit with the Rayleigh criterion just given to you by Zach. Now, you can rumpus me like you are now, but ultimately speaking, Tim, even though you're talking over the point, it just makes it clear you're not ready for this. Your religion's too tightly held. Now, that's not my problem. You just have to rumpus me when I make the point really concisely.
Yeah. The normal rhetoric, okay. So
it's not rhetoric. Perspective, diffraction limit, calculable, listed based on the aperture. These aren't rhetorics. These are facts.
So does height have anything to do with the Rayleigh criterion?
You're increasing your angle.
Sorry, height is an actual size, Tim. Are you dense? Did you not just listen? Height, would that be measured in feet and inches, perchance? Or meters?
I'm saying that when you change height, you get observations like this. This is
I already addressed this. I said yes, so we're going to move on to foreshortening effects, are we? We are done with the Rayleigh criterion. We're done with the fact that objects disappear with distance based on their angular size, and now we're going to move on to foreshortening effects. So we're done with this, are we, Tim? No concession, no acknowledgement of your fundy belief that substitutes angular size, apparent size, the size that things look at distance, with actual size, feet and inches, what you'll plug in the curves math, so you can ignore the effect of the Rayleigh criteria. Well, you can ignore it, but that would be your fundamentalist belief in a substitution of perspective with Earth curve, Tim. Now, you'd have to like that. You can rumpus me every time I get to the conclusion, but it just shows to the audience that you're a fundamentalist zealot that can't accept anything that flies in the face of your religion.
This guy is fucked in the head, man. Hey, can I talk to flat earthers or no?
Yeah, that's me. The Earth is obviously and observably flat. The only assertion of Earth curve from the ground requires the observer to exclude the effects of perspective, including that objects disappear with distance at the diffraction limit, calculable in the Rayleigh criterion. This is all fact, Tim. You don't have to like it. You don't have to like it. You can keep talking about feet and inches and how many feet will be missing, right? You don't have to like it, Tim. This is real. This is the world we live in. It's flat. I'm a flat earther.
Okay, so can I actually talk to real flat earthers for a moment?
Yeah, me. Yeah, the only assertion of Earth curve comes with the hijacking of perspective. The Earth is obviously and observably flat, but things do get smaller with distance. Their feet and inches value, however, stays the same at all distances.
Can other people talk besides you for a moment, please?
So hand wave dismissal to every one of my arguments. Quick, someone else save me. Talk to me, someone else. Nathan's taking apart my religion. Someone else talk to me.
This is embarrassing. Go ahead, Riley.
Why? You know when you've got the drone up at its highest elevation, just go back to a point where it's higher rather than lower. Do you have any explanation for why there's not a reflection of the sun at the horizon and it's only in the middle ground?
No, I don't know why.
Surely it should reflect all the way up to the horizon if it's a ball.
So what's interesting with this is that Antonio Subrats came on my channel, said the same thing, Pete Shea, and basically this is demonstrating, obviously, with altitude, which he's not taking into effect in any of his excuses, it actually changes how much you can see of something that's 37 miles away. This Strong's knob here, that little peak that goes up, that's 37
because you're
miles
increasing your angle, Tim. You're increasing your angle to your target so you can see it. So your camera can distinguish each light rays coming out. When it's at the bottom, the angle is so narrow that those light waves interfere with each other, and the pixels just jumble up, and they just show, one and two pixels become one.
Yeah.
So when you're going
correct.
up,
And
you're
that was
increasing your angle, so you get to see more because your camera can resolve.
Hey,
That's
good
it.
times for all. I would actually like to talk to you sometime. I can show you a lot of observations and stuff. We can go through this without this this clown here.
What are you talking about? It just made a really excellent example. As you increase in elevation, you widen your angle. Again, we're back to talking about angles. What a shock. So it's all about the angles that we're seeing, and you're increasing that angle, and therefore widening the angle would increase. It's just your religion, Tim. Don't worry about it. Go away and worship R. You can either listen to the explanation, and I'm going to concisely summarise what Anonmoto has so beautifully pointed out. You're opening up the angle as you rise, decreasing the angle as you lower, and that means that the angle becomes more limited and the diffraction limit comes sooner. Simple. All about the angle, Tim.
You can do that with a ball and a long hallway. You increase your angle. You increase the angle of your camera. The ball, the little tiny golf ball, becomes visible at the end of the hallway. There's nothing to do with curve, Tim. Come on, don't be a fundamentalist yourself.
And with that, I will say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you joining us in the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream. Hopefully for smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and all that good stuff. Obviously, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel, including Tim Osman, who is an excellent sport, I will have to admit it. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!